Good evening. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of Sports Talk for You. I am your host, Aaron Bell. I have my co host, Adam Parker, with me. Hello.
Hello.
We are going to talk some more Chiefs football tonight as we will have podcaster James Helms from the Chiefs Brawl Network joining our show here in a little bit. Once we get a hold of him, we'll get some insight on his idea and what he thinks about the Chiefs and what's going on there. But of course, Chris Jones, 4 years, $81 million, got his $20 million that he was wanting, and the Chiefs still saved cap space. So Brett Veach knows how to get it done because the Mahomes contract doesn't start for 2 more years. And so Chris Jones got his contract. And I mean, who else, who knows who's going to get the next contract? And don't forget, Sammy Watkins took that pay cut too to help the team out.
Yeah, the Chiefs are in great shape. They have a GM who knows what he's doing, unlike Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Although the Dak signing, I'm indifferent to what a lot of people are saying because I'm so happy he didn't get his long-term deal. But that aside, I believe the Chiefs are in great shape. It's nice that they signed the second best defensive tackle in the league, and that was real big because
They got
having
Frank
him.
Clark for 2 more years.
What's that?
I still think they got Frank Clark for 2 more years.
Yeah, and that was a great pickup from Seattle.
Yeah.
The Chiefs and great signings. It'll be interesting to kind of see how it all pans out.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, God, Frank Clark and Chris Jones right there on the defense line. I mean, there's going to be offensive linemen that are going to be afraid to play this Chiefs defensive line.
Oh, most definitely. And even if it is a shootout in the AFC West, I believe that your defense can match with anybody outside of the AFC West.
Yeah.
Um, that includes the Cowboys, anybody in the NFC East, the NFC West, with the 49ers and Seattle. And it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah, it's just going to be, I mean, defensive line, man, that's going to be the name of the game. All right, James is with us. Hello, James.
Hey, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Pretty good. We're
Well,
just talking Chris Jones contract and, Chris Jones and Frank Clark on that defensive line and how many offensive linemen are going to be scared to face the Chiefs.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, James, I know that you're part of the Chiefs Brawl podcast.
Yeah, not no more.
Not
We
anymore.
no. Our guy that was running the podcast, he was like the KCTV5 director or something. He had to do other duties, so we kind of cut off on that. I think someone else is doing it right now, but
That's all right.
but yeah, but it's not too bad. It takes a lot of time doing those. As you know, it takes a lot of time doing podcasts and everything.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're trying to get these diehard fans from every NFL team on our show, and I read a lot of your tweets and a lot of your Facebook stuff about the Chiefs
Yeah.
and that you love the Chiefs and all your pictures.
Oh God, yes, I love
I
them.
mean, what was your feeling when you woke up last week and saw the Mahomes contract, and then when you woke up this week and saw the Chris Jones contract on your phone?
The Mahomes contract was like, I was just shocked at the years, to be honest. I figured, it's Patrick Mahomes. They're gonna get it done. It's, it was just one of those deals where you really wasn't that concerned about it, but you knew eventually they're gonna get it done. The only thing I was kind of like that raised my eyebrow was the timing of it. We all knew that Chris Jones was coming up, and I was like, okay, maybe they wanted to get Pat done, and then maybe they're going to move on to Chris Jones, which seems like that's what ultimately happened. You pay Pat and just kind of see where it goes, and it's like, okay, let's see how much money you would have to pay Chris. And the Chris Jones one, it was kind of a deadline deal. I was 50-50 on if they should pay him or not, just because they just paid Frank Clark, and then if that'd be two guys making 20+ million on the defensive line. But it sounds like the way they structured the contract, I think it's beneficial to the team. I guess just because of the day and age of the coronavirus, they didn't give him any signing bonus. So technically, they can trade him at any point in the contract with no dead cap space.
Well, it's just hard to believe that back
Yep.
in March, the Chiefs only had $177 of cap space.
Yep. That's
Brett
incredible.
Turned that around in a heartbeat. So it's like the guy knows how to get it done.
Yeah, and I was talking to one of my buddies. I was like, man, isn't it just crazy? Like back in, I don't know, what was it, 2012, when they had the whole Javon Belcher thing, Scott Pioli, how much of a train wreck the Chiefs were and how they are now.
That's just
an awesome brand franchise, and it's just night and day what they were about 10 years ago.
Well, and I remember the day that Andy Reid was fired from Philadelphia. So many Chiefs fans were on Twitter and Facebook saying, "Go after this guy,
Right.
Going to be the next coach, blah, blah, blah." Because really, I don't think there wasn't many NFL teams that were looking for head coaches at the time. So the Chiefs kind of got lucky that year.
Yeah. And I think it was like pretty much between us and Arizona, and all the big wig national media guys saying Arizona was the front runner. And I guess the story was that Clark Hunt got on the plane, flew to Philadelphia before Andy Reid flew to Arizona and said, "No, you're not getting on that plane."
Yeah.
So you got to really give Clark Hunt a lot of credit on that. That's the hire that changed everything with the franchise.
Yeah, he's one of the best coaches in the league, even when he was with Philly. And it's kind of hard to believe that Arizona was in the running for him, I mean, I would have picked the Chiefs no matter what, just because of the player personnel, and as a Bronco fan, I think he was one heck of a steal for you guys in order to get. And my question to you is, if you had to pick between Frank Clark and Jones, which one would you pick?
That's tough. I think I would probably. I think Frank Clark's a better all-around player than Chris Jones. I think Chris Jones, defending and run, he gets out of position a lot of times. I think Chris Jones is a little bit better pass rusher, but I think Frank Clark's a little bit all-around defender. And what I like about Frank, I appreciate it. He changed the mentality of the defense. He kind of has that dog mentality you need on the defensive line, and I think that's really the underrated trait that Frank Clark brings.
Well, I was shocked that Seattle got rid of him personally.
Yeah.
Seattle, to me, is kind of known as the team with the linebackers, the best linebackers. I mean, granted, you have the Cowboys and their 2-3 guys, but overall, Seattle's great at developing those guys. And to let him go was just an absolute shocker. But, you said it helped transform, bring a new attitude to the team. Do you think that's his personality kind of rubbing off, or do you think he learned it from Seattle, hoping to rub what he learned up there on the Chiefs?
Yeah, I think a little bit of both. I think remember out of college, I believe he had some background issues at Michigan, and I think that kind of people doubted him coming into the league. That's why I think he got drafted in the second or third round out of Michigan from Seattle. And so entering the league, he's always kind of had that I got to fight for everything attitude and, that dog mentality. And it just kind of transformed into the NFL. And then when he was with Seattle and playing with they had such a talented defense over there. And I think he kind of learned a lot from those guys as well. And then when he came to the Chiefs, I mean, let's be honest, we had none of those guys. So when we got him and Tyrann Mathieu, them two had completely changed the mindset of the defense.
Well, it seems
Yeah,
like
the honey badger I wish was on the Broncos or the Cowboys personally. But I have a quick question. Do you think your rookie linebacker that you got? I believe he came out of South Carolina. Is that right?
Willie Gay.
Do you think
Willie
he's
Gay,
like
yeah.
a miniature Frank Clark?
Yeah, he's more of
very
an off the
precise.
ball guy,
Yeah.
and he's more of your. I think he's going to be playing weak side linebacker. Frank's more of a defensive end guy, but kind of the mentality I think where they kind of grew up on. Yeah, I know Willie Gay got in no legal trouble, but he like punched his quarterback in the senior game or something. But
put up with that.
no, exactly. But I'm excited about Willie Gay. I think he's going to be a fabulous player, and I think that's a big area of need for the Chiefs. It's probably one of their weaknesses was linebacker.
Well, a lot of guys were comparing him to Derek Johnson, but I'm just like, no, we can't do that quite yet.
Right, exactly.
Derek Johnson was in college. You knew about this guy, but I wouldn't compare him to Derek Johnson until he really starts to show that he can do Derek Johnson things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree there.
Yeah. So tell me, how do you think it's going to pan out this year? Because I think, weren't you a season ticket holder at one time?
Yeah, it's been a few years, but yeah.
I mean, how do you feel about, maybe half capacity is what Arrowhead's going to do, or no fans, or do you think that's going to affect the season? Is that going to affect the players and the way they play the game?
Yeah, it's definitely gonna, man, that is gonna stink just because, football, man, it's especially when you're playing at home, you get that home mentality. A lot of those players, a lot of people, when you go to the game, a lot of people don't see the stuff where like they're at commercial and the defense hyping the crowd up and everything.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get that, extra motivation. But I think it's something they're going to have to get used to, especially for this year. And that's going to bring a different dynamic for sure.
I mean, it's just not going to be the same for home games because we know how loud Arrowhead can get.
Yep.
Last
exactly.
year with the Houston game and all that. So, I mean, it's going to be very different in the NFL this year. It's not going to feel the same, but I don't care. As long as we have football,
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what happens.
Exactly. Yep.
All to come and to be here.
Yep. We just take a year off from all this and
Yeah.
And we'll go back to the games next year.
Adam, I know you've been wanting to ask the question about CEH, so go ahead and ask him.
Yeah, I was wondering how long until he takes over Williams' spot? Do you think it'll be half the season or a full season and let Williams' contract just run out? Or
I legit think if it happens at all this year, it's going to be at the very end. The reason I say that is because, man, with all the, there was no mini camps, nothing at all. So, I mean, I know he knows the playbook, but he hasn't been on the football field. That's where a lot of times those rookies get that, gain the knowledge of the plays and everything. And the first time he's going to ever meet the guys is at training camp, which is hopefully it's going to happen here in a couple of weeks, but we'll see about that. But I think not just him, but for all rookies around the whole NFL, it's going to be more of an adjustment period this year, just because they're not going to be on the practice field until late August, when most years are on there in June for those the mini camps, the rookie mini camps and such. So I think that's going to be a different feel.
Yeah. Now I do want to ask one question, because I asked Raider Cody this when we had him on the other day.
Mhm.
What has been probably your best Chiefs game you've ever been to, and what's been your worst?
Like, have I been to live?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I'd probably say we'll start with the bad. The worst one was definitely probably that playoff Titans game.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, yep.
Because we know when
Uh,
quarterback gets sacked and goes backward, it's not a fumble. It's forward.
yeah, exactly. Yep, yep. And I'll have to do two best ones because the first one was my first ever game I attended at Arrowhead, and it was I think it was like 1997. We were playing the 49ers. Chiefs had an excellent team that year. Defense was crazy. That was a year they went 13-3 and lost to the Broncos, I think, in the playoffs. But they ended up beating the 49ers like 44-9 or something like that. That was my first game. It's just one of those things you never get out of your head. You know, you get the goosebumps first time you're at Arrowhead. And my number two would probably be I know your guy Adam's gonna love this one, but it was at Mile High when Mahomes threw a left-handed pass. I was there. Yep.
Nice.
10 rows up behind the Chiefs sidelines. Yep.
We won't forget Mike Trollick's call on that either on ESPN.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
And you could just I don't know, that game was just, after that game, you can just feel like I know Mahomes had the crazy, 2 or 3 game start, but you're like, damn, I think a superstar is being built here.
Yeah.
Like just the way you put him on his back during that game.
I think
it was just nuts.
I think he had a couple of other spectacular throws in that game too. That one off the back foot that he threw 55 yards.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's just poor Adam. A lot of memories against the Denver Broncos.
I know. It's all good though. It's all good.
I mean, I told him I brought up one of my best games was I went to a game against Denver and Derek Johnson side blinding Jake Plummer for a sack.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That's one of the best games I've ever been to at Arrowhead Stadium.
You know, he's one of the quarterbacks because I'm from Arizona, so I'm a Wildcat fan, and he was a Sun Devil. That's where he went to college, and anytime someone says they sacked Jake Plummer, I'm like, that's okay.
Yeah.
So he was good, but he wasn't like my favorite. I mean, putting aside he went to Arizona State, I just kind of found him a little obnoxious. And so anyway, so when you said that story, I was just like, you know what? Good for him. So, but are you shocked that, I mean, I know we touched base on this at the beginning of the show a little bit, but were you just kind of shocked that an NFL contract was over, like, say, 200 million or whatever? Because I thought baseball was the only sport to dish out numbers like that. And so when I read 500 million for 10 years, I'm like, oh, so the NFL can do this.
Yeah.
So just what was your take, just your one word reaction of when you saw it?
Yeah, I was just my first word was wow. But yeah, I knew it can be done, like longer term contracts like that. They just never do it, just because I think the big reason why they don't do it a lot in the NFL is it's just changing so much, or players want shorter term contracts because, Patrick Mahomes, if he takes a 4 or 5 year deal, he's going to end up getting more money in the long run if he sees that 4 year deal. And then, hey, I'm still the best quarterback, so pay me higher than whoever the next quarterback is, whoever's getting paid the highest at that time. Because I think that's why a lot of players don't take longer term contracts. But yeah, I was pretty shocked when it was so long. But I knew when they said it was like a 10-year contract I'm like, oh, this is going to be a large number because
Yeah.
people were talking.
I don't know the
45 million.
reaction. I don't know the reaction, how the Bronco fans will take what I'm about to say, but the rivalry aside, I am the guy who is driving that bandwagon for Mahomes.
Mhm.
Because I think he is worth every penny, and I find it absolutely hilarious that ESPN analysts and some of the other shows out there are trying to compare him to Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
And, and it's the most laughable thing I've ever witnessed in, I mean, at least 15 years of just kind of watching sports and hearing analysts do that. But I'll tell you this, 50 was a little high for me and what I was thinking, but, I kept telling everybody, will the real $40 million quarterback please stand up? And it was always Mahomes and
Right.
not Dak Prescott, So
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, kudos to having him for 10 years, man, because I think he's a great, great person and well-deserved, because not very many, quarterbacks in their first 2 seasons can say they went to an AFC championship game or a championship, let alone a Super Bowl, and winning an MVP there and the outright league MVP. So,
Well, I believe Lamar Jackson came out after that contract and said that, what did he say? Something to do that he needs to get paid or something like that. And I just shook my head because I'm like, dude, you're 0-2 in the playoffs. You're 0-2 against
Mhm.
Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, and if people find out about if they can stop your running game, you're not an MVP. I'm sorry.
Right.
That's the only reason he got the MVP is because of those rushing yards, and most of his touchdowns were 10, 15-yard passes. I mean,
Yeah. And I think Lamar is good, but he can't. I'll be shocked if he's playing at this level when he's, early 30s, even late 20s maybe.
he's not a 2-minute quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
When
Yeah.
the team's down, he's not a guy that can. I mean, yeah, he can run the ball, but that takes time off the clock. He's not a Mahomes who can get you down the field within 20, 25 seconds and get you in range to win the game.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not saying that because I'm a Lamar Jackson hater. I'm just saying that because we've seen Lamar Jackson play 2 years now, and we know what he's capable and not capable of.
Yep,
So I
exactly.
remember going to the game in 2018, Chiefs and Ravens, both Mahomes and Lamar's rookie season. And Chiefs came down and scored, and then the game went into overtime, and Lamar couldn't bring his team down the field, and then Mahomes, bam, 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 got the team down there in a minute and 30 seconds and kicked a field goal to win. And Lamar had 2 chances to win that game, and he couldn't do it against a terrible, and I mean a terrible Chiefs defense.
Yep.
The fact that he couldn't get the team down the field against the terrible Chiefs defense.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's his rookie season, but I don't care. He's not $40 million worthy, in my opinion.
no.
Yeah.
And, it says Mahomes set a bar, and I put that in quotes because honestly, I think he puts the bar ahead of everybody else in the league. But if you were to name one quarterback to get something around what Mahomes got, who would it be?
I think Lamar is probably going to get paid. I think the Ravens are going to make a mistake and pay him a lot.
I'm thinking Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Watson.
You give him an offensive line. I mean, God, when the guy can fly on a plane because of his kidneys.
Give him a competent head coach.
Yeah. Let's get rid of the best receiver and bring in a receiver that's not as good. But,
My guy, honestly, would be Russell Wilson, just for how bad that offensive line is year in and year out. And I've never seen a guy run for his life on every single play, and yet somehow makes magic with it. And
your favorite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, how can I forget about him?
We all know how you love him.
Oh yeah, no. That guy has beat my Cowboys way too many times, man.
Joe Burrow might be there one day.
Yeah.
Could. He very well could, but I don't know. He'll be great, but I don't think he'll be Mahomes great. Because, like I said, Mahomes is on another level that no other quarterback can somewhat touch.
Well, when you're in your third year in the NFL and you have a 99 rating on Madden already, yeah, you're pretty much non-human. I mean, it's just. But well, James, we appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, it was awesome being on talking Chiefs, and
Yeah.
anytime you guys.
Hey, I
Have me
got
on.
one more question for you.
Sure.
This is
sure.
really random. But what do you think the Washington new name will be?
Oh, I have no idea, man. Who's the owner going to be?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
After that stuff today, that's the
You
million.
got to guess?
The Warriors. That's what I've heard a lot, or something.
Warriors and Red Wolves. The Red Wolves.
Okay, yeah, it was like the Red Tails or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
No.
Yeah, it will. Well,
But
thanks for coming on, man. It was fun.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Love talking Chiefs football, and anytime you want me to come on during the season, I'm free. So.
all right. Let's just hope we have an NFL season. So
Yeah, exactly.
all right, man. Appreciate
All right,
it.
thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for today. Go ahead and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We will have another show next week. We'll be talking Major League Baseball because we are now, I believe, a week away.
1 week.
Exactly a week away from opening night. Let's just pray that no more viruses kick in here and we can get started. We are anxious for MLB, NFL, all those to start. And let's not forget 2 weeks away from NBA. See how that goes too. So we will be back next week and talk more about that and hopefully get all excited.
Yeah.
So,
Because I'm excited for baseball season, man.
yeah.
Knock on wood. 1 more week.
We will be at your house watching baseball and we'll do a show about it.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, guys.